You, Greg, step into the dangerous territory harder than last time. Is there something wrong with having a different opinion? Just because I'm saying what I believe does not mean that that is necessarily correct. But if I don't have the right to say it, how can we ever learn? How can we learn from each other? Coach Greg, in today's video, women don't try hard. Or do they? Well, I posted a video and I got 3.5 million views, kind of went viral, over 4,000 comments. People up in arms, both sides of the story. One side says, women, they train just as hard or harder than men. The other side saying, are you kidding me? Men outperform, outtrain women every single time. And so, which is correct? Let's get right into it.
It's 55% harder for them to lose body fat than it is for men.
Because they have to complain before they work out?
Yeah. And so you have to laugh at the opening. It's 55% harder for women to lose weight. And the guy's like, yeah, why? Because they have to complain harder. And the reality was this. They were trying to say that it's harder for women to lose weight because they're smaller. They can't burn as many calories. And so when a man does an hour of cardio versus a female, the man's going to burn more calories. Think of it. If you're a 200-pound male and you do an hour of cardio compared to a 120-pound female doing an hour of cardio, who do you think is burning more calories? And so since it's calories in, calories out, the men clearly have it easier to burn more body fat than women. To me, that is clear. But remember, it's based on a pound per pound basis. A 200-pound man has to burn off 2 pounds of fat. In comparison, a 120-pound woman only has to burn off 1.2 pounds of fat in order to burn off the same percentage of fat. And so to me, it's about equal. It's about equally hard for a man to lose body fat as a woman. But remember, men generally have lower body fat percentages than that of women. And so if a woman tries to get single-digit body fat in comparison to that of a man, very, very difficult. But the average body fat for an American male, it's about 28% body fat. That is, in fact, clinically obese. And for that of a female, 40% body fat, also obese. You can argue with me that it's gender differences, that it's simply something they're born with. But I'm telling you, as a physical education teacher, with my master's, of which I've studied this in detail, men on average try harder than girls. Who in fact tries harder? Do men on average try harder than women? I personally think that on average, men try harder than women. And the reason for that is they have to. Think of it. A man trying to attract a female, he has to be successful. He has to have a job to make money, to earn a living. You can argue and debate me if you want, but on average, women are looking for men who have a career, who have money, and men, they don't care so much. And so the roles are reversed. Men on average are older. They date younger women because it takes longer for them to establish themselves. And so on average, I'm arguing, and remember, this is my argument, that men, they have to work harder because they need to. If a man slacks off, doesn't work hard, doesn't get a job, a career, what kind of woman are they going to get? Now, am I saying all women don't work as hard as men? Of course not. There are women out there, doctors, lawyers, surgeons, they're training harder than last time. They're going to school for years. They're working just as hard or harder than many of the guys out there. But I'm speaking about the average. This is true, actually. It also accounts for why men typically make more than women. And so that is highly debatable. Do men make more money because they work and train harder? Or do they make more money because they're simply men? I'm going to say it's a combination of both. No, men make more than women due to the fact that men take jobs with more risk, demand more hours, which in turn means more pay than women. Women take more jobs in different fields with lower pay scales. Women are outperforming men in education, maybe not jobs. I don't know, haven't looked in depth into it, but women 8. Yeah, more women are educated because more women pursue higher education and earn degrees in comparison to men. It's been this way for 40 plus years. The system has done this through affirmative action such as providing and having more scholarships for women. And so many people, they understand there are different jobs out there with different pay scales. Some jobs make more money than others. Some are more dangerous than others. And remember, I'm not dissing on the women. I'm not putting the women down. There's nothing wrong with that. Imagine you're pregnant, you're a mother. How can you possibly do some of these very dangerous activities, these dangerous jobs?
They're more willing to work outside. That's one. They're more willing to move. That's another. They work longer hours. And if you work 13% more hours, you make 40% more money on. That's the stat.
I know that we all wanted to be treated as equals, but treating everyone equally does not mean you're treating everyone fairly. Being treated equally does not necessarily mean it's fair. If there are 2 jobs available and 100 men apply for it and one woman applies for it, should the woman automatically get the job and 1 out of the 100 men get the job, or the 2 most qualified? Well, what if they say we need 1 woman and 1 man? Clearly, it's going to be easier for the woman to get a job. And so let's look at university sports. When I was in university, they decided that the same amount of women and men had to go and play university sports. And so because there was a football team with about 90 men on the team, you know what they did? They cut all the other teams. The swim team that I want to be on, the men's volleyball team, men's rugby team. Why? Because there were too many men in comparison to women. But should there really be the same amount of men and women playing university sports? If there are 5 times more men that want to play university sports as women, should there not be 5 times more availability for men than that of women? You, Greg, step into the dangerous territory harder than last time. Is there something wrong with having a different opinion? Just because I'm saying what I believe does not mean that that is necessarily correct. But if I don't have the right to say it, how can we ever learn? How can we learn from each other? I should be allowed to say, this is what I think. You don't have to agree with me, but you can hear my point. Maybe by the end of it, you will agree with me, or maybe you'll still think I'm crazier than last time. Coach Greg stoking the fire harder than last time. But why can't we just have a discussion? We're not insulting anyone here. We're not putting anyone down. We're simply stating an opinion. Greg woke up today and chose violence. I mean, really, it's just an opinion. I don't think everyone should think the same way as I do. If I did, the world would be boring. I love people who disagree with me. I love to see, why do you think that? Why do you think I'm wrong? And why do you think you're right? I'll listen to you, examine it, and perhaps I'll change my mind. Isn't that how life should be all about? I certainly don't think the same way at 48 as it is at 38, 28, 18, 8, and so on. And so why should you? So you're telling me I'm supposed to listen to this man in a pink glitter jumpsuit? Yeah, nah. And so just because Aurora, who used to live in China, is now in the United States, decided to teach me a Barbie dance of which we collab together, does that mean you shouldn't listen to what I say? Because I decided to take a chance, take a risk, and learn a dance with her, to do some yoga, some poses, and to learn about her culture, I should now be made fun of, to be degraded, demoralized, to be put down, all because I wanted to learn something new? Really think about it. Is that the way we should act? We should judge other people by how they dress? It's literally hormones, I would say. Sure, call it drive, discipline, effort, but men were selected through generations to be highly driven providers, so can't really blame women. It's just genetics. Even if you have a godly mindset, you can't fight the brain chemistry man. And listen, it's easier for men to try harder. They have greater levels of testosterone. With more testosterone, it makes hard effort easier. And so when you're going to the gym and training, as a man compared to a woman, the man is going to be more motivated. And remember, I'm speaking about averages. Of course, there's going to be an example of this girl that's better than this. Of course, it's averages. But consider a man who has lower levels of testosterone. When your testosterone levels go down, you have less motivation, energy, enthusiasm, brain fog. You can't focus as hard. You can't train as hard. And so does it not make sense that men who have higher levels of testosterone, on average, are going to be able to push themselves and work harder? And speaking of harder, if you want to train harder than last time and you have lower levels of testosterone, you can, of course, pick up G test or 3 tests. Studies shown you can possibly improve your testosterone by 200 to 400 nanograms per deciliter. And if you can't get the downstairs harder than last time, why not pick up harder than last time, literally for what it says it does? And so let me know in the comments section, and please don't be afraid to write what you actually think. On average, remember the average, do you think that on average men train or work harder than women? Overall, not on a one-to-one basis, but overall as a society, do men need to work harder than last time, or do women work harder than last time? Now remember, women can have a valid point. They raised a family. They're perhaps taking care of the kids. Perhaps they're working harder than the men. I don't know the answer. We all work harder in our own ways. Just because they don't work harder in perhaps the gym or in their career, perhaps they work harder in other areas. Perhaps women have it way harder than men. I'm open to your opinions. You can change my mind. Please write your comment in the comment section. Subscribe, click the bell button, like the video if you in fact liked it, and of course, watch one of those 2 bloops. Don't forget, you can pick up my cookbook, training book, the coaching plans by me and my team, the Circle Diet book. Look at all the supplements in the background, from protein bars to creatine to protein powder to pre-workouts to harder than last time to GO2 Max to Acti Builder. The list goes on and on. Click the link in the description. And until next time, I am out.